My grandmother had one terrifying rule at her remote farmhouse. If the dog went quiet, we came inside that exact second. I was 9, and my brother was 6. We spent that entire summer thinking the rule was a paranoid game. Her dog Duke was a massive German shepherd who aggressively barked at absolutely everything. The mailman, the wind, his own shadow. Grandma always said, a quiet dog is a scared dog, and Duke doesn't get scared for nothing. That night, the sun had just set. We were sitting on the porch shelling peas when I noticed Duke had stopped making noise. He wasn't barking or growling. He was just standing at the edge of the yard, staring out into the pitch-black tree line, completely still. Grandma, I said, pointing toward the yard. Duke's not making any noise. She looked up from her rocking chair, and the blood drained from her face. She set her bowl down incredibly slowly. Both of you. Inside, now. She grabbed our arms, shoved us through the kitchen, and violently pulled back the heavy rug covering the root cellar door. My little brother started crying because it was pitch black down there. She knelt down and grabbed both of our faces. Listen to me. You go down there. You stay completely quiet, and you do not come up no matter what you hear. Do you understand? Grandma, what's out there? I asked, my voice shaking. Go, she commanded. She pushed us down the wooden steps, and I heard her drag the heavy oak dining table directly over the cellar door. Then, I heard her walk to the hallway wall. I knew exactly what she was reaching for. Her 12-gauge pump-action shotgun. We sat in the absolute dark on the cold dirt floor. My brother buried his face in my shoulder, sobbing silently. Up above, everything was suffocatingly quiet. No barking, no footsteps, nothing. Then, there was a knock at the front door. 3 polite taps. Evening, a man's voice called out, muffled through the floorboards. Sorry to bother you. My truck broke down a mile back. I was hoping I could use your phone. Grandma's voice came back flat and dead even. Phone's out. Storm took the line last week. Ah, that's a damn shame. The man paused. Mind if I trouble you for some water then? I'll bring it out to the porch. You stay right where you are. I heard her cross the kitchen. I heard the tap run. And then, real quiet, right above the cellar door, I heard her whisper, 1 truck. 2 doors slammed. The man's voice came again, closer now. He had stepped inside the living room. You out here all alone, ma'am? Big place for one woman. I've got my grandkids sleeping upstairs and a guard dog in the yard. She replied smoothly. Funny thing about that dog. The man's voice dropped, losing its polite charm. He didn't make a single sound when we came up the drive. Almost like somebody already got to him. My whole body went cold. Where are they? The man demanded. The kids. We saw 2 on the porch. I told you, they're sleeping. Then you won't mind if my partner takes a look upstairs. I heard heavy boots move across the kitchen floor toward the staircase. My brother's breathing violently sped up, and I clamped my hand tightly over his mouth. Above us, Grandma's voice stayed as calm as still water. Mister, I'm going to tell you something my husband taught me. The second most dangerous thing in the room is always the one you're not looking at. And what's the first? The man mocked. Me. The shotgun went off. The sheer force shook the entire ceiling. Dust rained down on our heads in the dark. A heavy body hit the floor hard, right over where we were sitting. The second man shouted in absolute panic, and I heard his boots desperately scramble back toward the front door. The shotgun racked with a mechanical clack and fired again. Something crashed through the screen door and thudded onto the wooden porch. Then, there was just my brother sobbing into my hand, and the violent ringing in my ears. 10 minutes later, the heavy table scraped across the floor, and the cellar door dragged open. Grandma stood at the top of the stairs, the shotgun still resting casually in her hands, and blood spatter across her apron. You two all right? She asked. I couldn't talk. I just nodded. After the sheriff came, I heard him say the state police had been hunting those guys for months. It was 2 men in a truck, hitting isolated farmhouses with women or old folks living alone. 4 families before us. They never left survivors.